Hi, yeah, I realize my background looks really strange right now, and so for that, I apologize. I don't know what came over me, but I decided to rearrange and also redecorate my office this week. I've been thinking about it for a long time and like having some ideas of what I wanted to do, and then the other day it just was like, you know what, I'm doing it now. And so I moved my bookshelf into the closet. I hung up some new fairy lights, but it's not done. I bought some new bookshelves that I'm gonna put behind me instead. They're taller and they also have a cabinet at the base so I can have like closed storage and like actually put things away in there. But they're just not here yet. So we're working with this for the next couple of days. So this is gonna be an interesting video because we're basically gonna build a dollhouse that I intend to trap my Sims in for the next 24 real life hours. It's kind of like an experiment to leave the Sims unpaused for a full 24 hours and then just see what happens and see what they all get up to. And I've been doing this every year in May as part of my big annual fundraiser for St. Jude. So we've kind of done a lot of experimenting and like figured out a lot of the issues that arise over the years. But there is some new stuff that came out last year that I haven't gotten a chance to test in this format yet. For example, archery came out with Adventure Awaits, haven't used that, and fairies we've never had before in one of these challenges. So I am really curious to see how this year goes and how these new things all interact. But let's just jump straight into the build because I want to show you what I've done and also kind of explain a bit more of how it works because I feel like there's probably a lot of immediate concerns that you have coming to mind. So I want to try and clarify a few things as we're building. But first, you're probably noticing that it's kind of a weird shape of a building. This is not a normal house. It doesn't look like a normal house. The back of it is absolutely horrible, unhinged, so bad because the way that you have to build something like this, it's very focused on just what it looks like from the front and what you can see from a very specific angle. Because I'm gonna kind of frame it like a little snapshot and then we're just gonna look at that for 24 hours straight. And so it doesn't really matter what the rest of it around the exterior looks like. It just matters what you can see. And so that involves kind of making some weird shaped rooms and changing the depth of rooms to make you see better. We have to do some kind of finicky furniture placement to make sure that you can see everything. And you're gonna watch me doing a lot of that zoom out camera angle checking as we go through, just because again, I'm trying to make sure that we're optimizing all of the space because you have to be able to see all of the Sims. And then I've put in the front, these are actually some custom content glassless windows. It's basically just a top frame and a bottom frame. My friend Little Dika made those, and so I'm using them here. There's also some archways. So the part that you can see right there, like where the wood stops and there's just a big gap, that's actually like a frameless, glassless archway. So the Sims can freely walk between those. But I use these windows because if you try and put like a glass wallpaper, for example, we've never had those before for this challenge. They didn't exist when I last did it, but the glass wallpaper still has kind of like a sheen to it. So it makes it a little bit harder to see inside. And if you put other windows, like maybe a glass window, just a big frame of glass, those ones will frost over in the cold and it's kind of harder to see the Sims. Plus they have the borders in between them. And then if you have no windows, the lighting is really weird inside because the like indoor outdoor lighting just looks very strange in The Sims 4. And so we use these windows instead. They just are like windows that aren't windows, basically. I'm gonna link the download for them down below in case you want to use them for yourselves. There are actually a bunch of mods and various mod settings that we have to use for this, and I'll kind of write it up and explain it better in the comments, but I'll walk you through it in this video as well in a little bit. The other big change that I've done with this one, as opposed to previous years, is that I'm trying to take advantage of this lot with the water in it from Gibby Point. This is the Love Highland lot. It's where they usually have that like big Love Island style house getaway thing, and the back of it is on the water. And so I thought it would be kind of cool if we tried to play it here, but like use the back as the front almost. And I'm trying to take advantage of the water section and see if they want to try swimming in the ocean and like using that part as well, because I've never used the ocean in one of these builds before. I've done one of these challenges in Sulani, but it was facing the beach, and so the front was beach and I had like some stuff outside on the beach, but I never used the water in the back. So we're gonna try and take advantage of that. That's also why I have kind of like that weird high platform thing around it. I was trying to trap the Sims in because we can't have them swimming far away. They can't swim under it or anything. So I built that out to keep them enclosed. Ideally, everybody would stay enclosed for the full 24 hours in real life, but sometimes things happen. Sometimes there are glitches. Sometimes people like teleport out of the house. I have a fairy and also a vampire, and of course they can like teleport in their weird little forms. But In all my years of doing this, again, I haven't played with a fairy yet, but I play with Vlad every single time. I've only ever had Vlad teleport out of the house a couple of times, and it's just easy. I just come back and fix it because, you know, I'm leaving the game alone for 24 hours, but I'm also watching it the whole time. So if something goes wrong, I can just come back and like real quick teleport Vlad back inside. And I guess also Vlad usually dies quick because the man just goes and stands outside. And when there's sun, he really shouldn't be doing that. So we're kind of trying to encourage as much death, as much woohoo, as many fights as we possibly can as we're doing this. And so on top of me setting up the house to have lots of things for them to do, like various activities and stuff like that, I've also got some club rules and stuff set up as well to like encourage slightly more chaotic behavior. So for example, I've got a club that all of the Sims in the household are in that has woohooing and being romantic as club activities, so it will encourage them to woohoo with each other. I also set it so they all like every romance style in CAS with the like love-struck romantic style preferences. So they all love flirting, they love this, they love that. And I used MC Command Center to turn off romantic relationship decay because Lovestruck made it so that if you aren't really staying on top of your romantic relationships, they start to decay. And then the Sims stop woohooing. And we learned that the hard way last year because we had way less woohoos than we ever did before. And that was sad because it's exciting when the Sims woohoo, especially because I put risky woohoo up really high. Today I have risky woohoo set at 30%, and it's set so that you can have same-sex pregnancies and stuff. So anybody can get anybody pregnant. And so we have a really high chance of having a lot of babies. And so it's fun when they woohoo and it stinks when they don't. So we're kind of trying to encourage that more by having like a flirty club vibe and, you know, all those type of things. I made it so nobody ever gets jealous as well, so that they can hopefully romance each other. And I included a lot of different woohoo spots in the house. I'll kind of show you all of them as they start to appear. The ones that I have found historically to be the most effective for the Sims to autonomously woohoo in with how we've got it set up are the bush. The woohoo bush is always a classic. We use the closet a lot as well. I'm trying out the blanket this year from Lovestruck. I haven't used that one before. And also the sauna. I've had a lot of good luck in the sauna, but last year the sauna was completely broken. like Sims bug broken. They claim that they have fixed it. I don't know if that's true, but I'm trusting them for right now. So we're using the sauna again this year, and if it doesn't work, I'll just delete it. Because that's the other thing. I've built this whole house with a plan in mind, you know, kind of basing it off of things that I know have worked previously. But sometimes as you go through it, it's like, oh, they're not using that item. Let me just delete it and put something else there in its place. So this is what I'm planning for. By the time that you're seeing this, and like if you're watching the actual unpaused stream, you might be noticing that something has changed. And that's just because we've been experimenting. And actually, that's a good time to point out that I am live with this stream right now when you're seeing this video. So for the next 24 hours, this idle stream will be live on my Twitch channel. This is the kind of thing that I feel like most people like to just leave up in the background, or like throw it on their second monitor, leave it on their laptop, and like, you know, mind their own business, cleaning the house, whatever, doing their normal Saturday tasks, but just kind of like periodically checking in to see what's going on. I'll keep a spreadsheet with like all of the information. I'll try and track all the fires we have, all the woohoos that happen, so that you can kind of get some updates in case you were gone for a little while. It's really silly and it ends up being really fun every year. So I hope that you want to come by and hang out, and I hope that you enjoy it. But anyway, right now in the build, I'm actually focusing on some of the outdoor spaces first. I feel like I picked out some of the most chaotic places to start, but on the roof, I have a shark pond upstairs. I've never put one of those in one of these challenges before, but I think it might be kind of interesting to watch them have to feed the sharks, and also to see if maybe they fall in and die, because they can drown in that thing. I've never had a Sim die autonomously in the shark pond. They've only ever died if I've forced them to jump in, but I'm kind of curious to test and just see what happens. I think it's probably similar to the cow plants though, where a Sim will never die autonomously from a cow plant, but they will eat the cow plant's cake. Only problem is you have to die. No, you don't have to die twice. You have to eat the cake twice to die. Only problem is you gotta eat the cake twice. I think it's in 24 hours for the Sim to die. So the only way to cause that to happen is if you, the player, intervene and like force them to eat the cake again. They won't eat it the second time autonomously, unfortunately. But we do always have 2 cow plants in these builds, because something kind of fun, I guess, that happens in the Twitch chat during the stream is everybody sort of picks a favorite, and they either cheer for left cow plant or right cow plant. And it's less about hoping that the Sims eat the cake to die. It's more like you hope that the Sims eat the cake so it feeds your favorite cow plant and the cow plant doesn't die. And so there's like team left cow plant, team right cow plant throughout the whole event. I've got 2 cow plants upstairs again. And then this time, this might seem kind of weird because we have a lot of water happening in this build. We have like the ocean space downstairs, and I also have a pool in there. I did that because I really wanted to use the diving board. I'm so curious to see if the Sims will autonomously dive a lot now that we have the pack. And so you can't put the diving board or the pool slide into the ocean. So I put a pool up high, and it's got the diving board, it's got a pool slide. It's also got some like gym equipment up there because it's fun to watch them do it. And then you can see the pool from the downstairs. And in front of the pool downstairs, I added in like a disco party room. There's like dance floors and a disco ball. Actually, at the very end of the build, I decided to add in a coffin into that room too, because I wanted to put Vlad in this house and he has to have a coffin to sleep. So I put Vlad's coffin in the disco room also, which is kind of weird when you say it out loud, but you know. And then upstairs, I added in an outhouse. That's the other kind of new thing, because they made that outhouse as part of a rewards event last year. The outhouse is a woohoo spot and also a toilet. So I thought it would be kind of helpful to have an extra toilet all the way upstairs, because the only bathroom is downstairs, and maybe they'll woohoo in the outhouse autonomously. We haven't tried that yet, so I'm curious to see what happens. On the front porch area, the deck, I guess, I have a fire pit, some lounge chairs, there's a dining table, and I also put a hot tub and a grill and a pizza oven. In my experience, they do autonomously use the lounge chairs a lot. The fire pit tends to be kind of a dud. You'd think it would be cool and really exciting, but honestly, it just doesn't end up being as exciting as you want it to be. So every time I tried a fire pit in the past, I ended up deleting it and then replacing it with something else. But I'm gonna try it again here. I think it's gonna be worth testing out. I also have that kayak and a pool floaty in the water. I don't even know if they can use those, but we're gonna test that too. I don't know how it's gonna work because it's kind of a small space, but I can't give them more space because then they could disappear and escape. So we're experimenting this way. In the kitchen, I tried to give them some nice, easy access food. They have a fridge, of course, so they can make quick meals. I also give them a microwave and a coffee pot because they like to use those things autonomously. Of course, they have a stove so they can cook like normal. And I'm putting a blender for the first time. I've never had a blender in one of these before because I never had adventure weights before this. And so I'm curious to see how that works out. I think it might be helpful for them. I try to give them a lot of different options for food and for cooking, because if there is a fire, it's fun, it's really exciting. They have to put it out themselves, you know, they're kind of on their own to solve it. The only thing that you can't really automate is the replacing of the burnt objects. So if the stove burns down, I have to manually replace it. And so we typically end up leaving it for a while and like then coming back and fixing it. It's like this constant balance of you want the Sims to be uncomfortable and hungry and like they burnt the house down, so it's their fault, they suffer the consequences. But then also if they're uncomfortable and hungry and like not in a good spot, nobody's interacting, nobody's woohooing, no one does anything fun to watch. So you're kind of trying to navigate that a little bit and like find the right balance. It's the same with, I use a mod, I use MC Command Center to turn the bills on auto pay. Because yes, it would be funny if like the power went out or if their water got shut off, but also if they don't have any power or water, they're all uncomfortable, they're all miserable. You can't see them because it's dark inside. And so it ends up just kind of being like hard to watch, and then everybody's uncomfortable and not woohooing, which is no fun because like the best part is the woohooing. So we're always trying to walk that line a little bit. The downstairs, I was kind of trying to decorate as if it was like a summer camp. And so that's why it has like this wooden accent theme going on. It's a very chaotic furnished house. It makes no sense, anything I've done. But the downstairs is kind of channeling that summer camp energy. We've also got a pretty moldy looking public bathroom. I've got 3 of those public toilets. I put mosquitoes in the bathroom. They only have 1 sink, but I think it should be okay. And then we also have 2 showers in there and a bathtub. The bathtub could cause some problems because if somebody's bathing in it, nobody else, they might not want to use the toilets, but that's why we have a bush and an outhouse upstairs. It's nice to have the bathtub because if anybody has any babies, they're gonna need to bathe them. And also we have a dog this time, which could be dangerous, but the dog might need bathed too. And normally I don't do this, but I put the showers on the glass window so that you could see them showering maybe, I don't know. if that's gonna be a good idea. Those showers are okay because people will use them when Sims are around still. Like they don't get embarrassed when they're using that shower. Just the tub will be a problem. But also, again, I might have to move that stuff around once we test it out a little bit longer. Upstairs and this middle floor, it's kind of random to do the middle one last. I like started at the top, did the bottom, and now I'm in the middle. But in the middle floor, we have a sauna on the far right side. I'm really hoping we can get some sauna woohoos. And it would be really fun also if maybe somebody got stuck in there and then died from overheating. But I've never had somebody overheat to death in one of these challenges. But there's a first time for everything. So we'll see. They actually have to walk through the sauna to get to the outdoor staircase that brings them up to the top floor. It's kind of a weird thing to navigate, but I think that's kind of fun because it's gonna have them walking like a lot. So it's interesting to watch in the little fishbowl. And then this room is the bedroom. It's just a whole bunch of bunk beds. And I laid them out. It's kind of weird looking. I've got 7 bunk beds in here. And no, actually I switched it. It's 9. There's gonna be 9 bunk beds in here. There's 4 of these like tall bunks. They each have 2 beds plus 1 in the front. I did play test this so the Sims can get into all of these beds, and I started upgrading a few of them so that they'll have like a slightly better sleep score for the Sims. But I did this because right now, I think that we have like 13 Sims in the household. And so that's kind of unhinged, but I wanted to have a lot of adults around to add more chaos. And so not everybody has a place to sleep, but one of them's a fairy and there's a fairy house upstairs. One of them is Vlad, he's got a coffin. And I've never in all my years of doing this had everybody asleep at once. Like I could have 8 beds for 8 Sims, they don't all use them at once. Like somebody's gonna nap on the couch, somebody's gonna try and sleep in the hot tub. It happens every single time. So it should be enough beds. And if it becomes a really big problem, I can just add more. This is kind of the point of the experiment, is we can just adjust it as necessary. I did also put a dog bed and some dog toys inside of that room. Oh, and that's the other thing. One of the Sims is a dog. So the dog doesn't need to have a human bunk bed either. Something else that comes up a lot with questions about this unpaused thing is like, why not a double bed? Why not have a Murphy bed so that they could die? But in my experience, they never use the double beds. They never woohoo in them, or if somebody woohoos in it, nobody else will ever use it. It gets like permanently claimed by those Sims. And so it's just not interesting. Like it's kind of a waste of space, I found. So I give them all kinds of alternative places to woohoo, and then no double beds anywhere in the house. It's hard because there are so many objects that would be so fun. Like I've tried karaoke before, nobody uses it autonomously. I've tried to have a dumpster, nobody uses it autonomously. So many of those fun ideas that just end up not working out properly. But we've got a bunch of things that we know work added into the house this year, and then a couple of new experiments that we're doing. And if the experiments don't work out, I'll swap them. And then this room is the last interior space. This is kind of like a flex space, I'm calling it. I just threw in a bunch of random skill building activities and like random objects that I wanted to test out. For example, I've never had paper crafting in this before, so I'm trying that out. There's that huge ginormous cake from the rewards event a couple years ago. I'm testing that because apparently somebody in my chat said that they use it autonomously. So we're gonna find out if they will. I also put the video game mat, that big like motion monitor video game mat in there. I went back and I added some things like cross stitch around. And then I also decided, you're gonna see me do this soon, I forget when in the video it happens, but I decided I wanted to put a bunch of clay and like guitars and violins and yarn baskets and like soccer balls in people's inventories. Because if you leave them outside, usually somebody takes it. So I just pre-assigned a bunch of those items to people. So there might be a point in the video where I just put a bunch of stuff on the porch. That's because I dragged it into their inventories afterward. But this flex room is mostly just random skill stuff right now. And then if anybody has any kids, what I'm gonna do is swap this out to be kind of like the nursery. So I'll replace it with, you know, infant cribs, toddler beds, toys, stuff like that. I just don't like to start with baby stuff because I don't know how many babies I'm gonna have, and it's like all up to chance if they woohoo and if they get pregnant from the risky woohoo. So I don't really wanna like prepare for a bunch and then have none. And I also think it can be kind of confusing to the viewer if they come into the stream and there's a crib and they're like, oh my gosh, whose baby is it? And then there isn't a baby, it's just an empty crib. So we're gonna wait, and if we have kids, we'll swap this to be a kid space. But that kind of covers the whole speed build segment of this video. I want to go back into the game now and give you a tour of the finished product, point out some things that I might have missed, and then also explain a little bit better about how I can avoid the big concerns, like the automatic pop-ups and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Oh, I can also show you The Sims. I can like introduce you to the cast of characters for this year as well. It's a lot. It's really chaotic. This isn't even all of them, but hold on. I will show you. It's funny having this many Sims in your house because they look so teeny tiny, but let me show you around. This one is Greg Plant. This is from my Very Veggie Legacy Challenge. His name is Greg Plant because he dresses as an eggplant, but he's like a real, I don't know, romantic problem. He cheats on people, he dates everybody, like that's sort of the whole theme of that part of the challenge. So I've added him in here to cause some chaos. We also have Stanley Humphrey, who you might recognize. I play with this sim a lot, but this version of Stanley Humphrey is a fairy. So his fairy form, of course, is not showing right now, but he does have wings. So he can like fly around and he has fairy magic. This is the cash crab. Oh, who looks really scared. This is like my mascot of my charity fundraiser this year, the cash crab, who demands donations to the fundraiser. So she's got her creepy little crab costume on and I made her all red so that she blends in. This is Robin Banks. You know her, you love her. Then I have Seymour Donations. He's a shark named Seymour. Yeah, he was my charity mascot from a couple of years ago. This is Saoirse Bell, who you might also know from my Legacy Challenge here on YouTube. In this version, she's alive. Most people know her as dead, but I gave her the chase by death, macabre, and paranoid traits. So I'm kind of hoping that she will die. Because I think it would be really funny if she died here as well. Then I added Eliza Pancakes. You know her, she's living here. Bob Pancakes is also here and kind of like stuck in between the beds right now. Don't worry, he's fine. He's just going out to take a nap. I also have Kyle Kyleson. He's one of the Growing Together townies. I put the peculiar plum bird in here, but I named her Phil this time, like Phil from Animal Crossing. But I've got this thing in the household. This is Blobby from Hotel Transylvania, but I named it Chat. Because I sort of envisioned Twitch chat and also like, you know, the YouTube comments. I was trying to describe it on stream once as, I see it as like one big blob. Not really like a bunch of individuals, but I think of it as like one blob. And they never let me live down the fact that I said blob. So now chat is Blobby. So this is you. Now you're in the house as well. Of course, we also have Vlad. You know him, you love him. And last but certainly not least, this is my Sims dog, Pulp. I used to have this dog in my Not So Berry challenge, and I just thought Pulp was so weird looking. I mean, look. So in my mind, she has kind of become a star, and now I've added her into the household also. But here's kind of an overview of how the front is looking. There are some parts that are weird, like this top level. You won't be able to see that when the camera is all set up. You won't even see my face cam because I'm not going to be on camera the whole time. And there's going to be a donation bar at the top tracking donations. So that'll kind of cover the weird secondary glass. But this is kind of what I was talking about when I said I was trying to be really careful about where I was placing objects just to make sure that you could see it. So some of the rooms are like not as deep as the others just to make sure you could see them, because I want to make sure you can tell that like Bob Pancakes is sleeping in this little bed right here. And you can't really tell, but we're trying to make sure everything's visible. I'm going to show you around though. This is the part that I think maybe I'm most excited about, is having this front section this time. Here they can do some extra cooking. We have the pizza and the grill and a counter to leave food on, places to sit. This is a hot tub that they can hopefully woohoo in. We have the fire pit. They can actually dive off of this ladder. So I'm kind of hoping we'll get to see some of that. Not super sure about the kayak, might have to delete it, but I'm curious to see if they will use it. And then inside we have a very teeny tiny kitchen. I'm realizing now Pulp is very small and might get lost. Like we might not be able to see Pulp very well sometimes, but that's okay. It's like a fun find Pulp in the house sort of game. This is the cash crab again because of the fundraiser. And they've just got some various kitchen appliances, and I tried to leave some extra counter space so that they could cook on it. In here we have the living room. You actually cannot see the TV when the camera angle is all the way up, but they do have a fireplace, and then they have this TV here with a video game console next to it so they can play games. I put the couches like this because a couple years ago I had the couch like facing the TV directly, and I realized that you couldn't see the sim if they were napping on it because the back of the sofa covered them. So now we keep the couches like this. It's maybe less practical in real life because you wouldn't be able to see it as well and be like craning your neck, but At least I can see my Sims. Over here, I put a little dog bowl. Oh, there's a cross stitch just floating already. I've barely even left the game on pause. I do have a foosball table. I don't know if they're gonna use this autonomously, so that's one of our experiments. I kind of was hoping that this half of the house could also be some flex space, and like maybe if we have kids, I can take away the fun parts that are up here and bring them downstairs and leave them in this room. Of course, we have the bathroom in here. This is actually a trash chute, so they can throw away stuff in there. And then if you go upstairs, chaos room, just a bunch of random skill stuff. This is the dance floor that I was telling you about. Then we have the bedroom and also the sauna room and the way to get upstairs again. If you go upstairs again, I put some archery. We have the blanket. Ignore the weird lights. They look fine when you're in the special view. From this view, everything looks bad. Look at this. This is what the back of the house looks like. I told you it was bad. Doesn't matter though, only this side matters. But up here we have the shark pond, the outhouse, the cow plants. Of course we have a woohoo bush. This is the fairy thing, and we also have a telescope in case somebody could die. And then in here, I was really excited about the gym and pool space because I've never put one of these rock climbing walls in, so we're testing that out. There's a couple of extra showers. I picked these because they can woohoo in these showers. And then if the downstairs one is full, somebody can come up here and use it. We have yoga, we have a cheer mat. And actually, speaking of cheer mats, last year I realized that I wanted to disable high school years because the sound of the pop-ups about the high school events, like, you know when there's like football night on Fridays and it plays that horrible sound? It is such a jump scare when you're watching the idol stream and all of a sudden that music string plays. So last time I disabled high school years, but this time I found a mod that disables the notification from high school years. So I can still have a cheer mat, but also not have horrible loud noises in my ears. So we've got this. We also never had weights or like the spin bikes before because last time again was before Adventure Weights came out. So I'm curious to see how those things work out and how they get used. I have a diving board, I have the pool slide, and then we have the pool. And it's kind of fun because when they're swimming, you can see their little legs like floating around in this part. So I think it's gonna be an interesting experiment. I'm really excited about all of this. I think the only other thing I didn't cover is the pop-ups and like how that works. Don't worry, I've also got a cheat for that. It requires you having some mods to be able to use the cheat, which is kind of annoying, and that's why I'll have a list of like how it works down below. Basically, this cheat used to exist and then it got disabled, so now you have to have a mod called All Cheats by Twisted Mexi, and it like re-enables all of those old cheats. And then the cheat is ui.dialog.auto_respond. And when you have that cheat enabled, now if I try and click on anything, so you know how normally MC Command Center gives you that pop-up when you click on this button? Nothing happens. Same thing, like if a baby is born, usually you get that pop-up that you have to like type a name and then click the check mark. This just brushes right past it and it names the baby with an asterisk. So this is how you can avoid the pop-ups pausing the game. Only thing is you have to turn that on every time you open the game or like reload the lot. So it doesn't like work permanently. You have to keep doing it over and over again. That's how you can stop all of that stuff from happening. Even like aging up, usually you have to pick a trait and stuff. This just hides it. You don't see any of that stuff. And that is how you allow your game to run smoothly for 24 hours straight. I mean, smoothly is maybe a stretch. I don't know if I would use that word, but this is how you allow the game to run and be an experiment for 24 hours straight. After I'm done with the experiment, I'm gonna make a video where I kind of walk you through everything that happened and like talk about all the stats and compare it to previous years. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna post that probably in the next couple of weeks. Also, my new bookshelves are getting delivered on Tuesday, so hopefully my background will look nice again in a few days. I've got a couple of videos that I already recorded, so you're gonna see like tomorrow I'm gonna have bookshelves again, but that's just sorry. This is a weird time. And if you want to come by and hang out in the stream, I've got it linked down below. My name is just lilsimsie on Twitch. After the stream is over, I'm gonna post the VOD, like all the replay of it on my second channel also, so you can like skim through it and like see anything that happened. I know a lot of people like to just leave it up in the background while they're studying because it's kind of fun just to have that thing to watch. It's weirdly fascinating to stare at. I feel like when I first thought about doing this, I thought it would be boring. So I was like, we'll try it, but no one's really gonna care. And then I did it and I realized that I could not look away. Like, you just stare at it and you're waiting for something to happen. And you see two Sims like start to talk to each other and you think, oh, they're gonna woohoo, and then they don't. But it really sucks you in. It's dangerous. And of course, I'm also fundraising on Twitch right now for St. Jude. As of recording this video, we're like $1,000 away from raising $300,000. I think probably by the time I post this, we'll have passed $300,000, which is so cool. So I'll link that fundraiser page down below as well. And with that, I'm going to stop yapping at you. And I think I'll wrap this video up right here and I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye everybody. Oh, also, I streamed myself making this house and like making all of the Sims and stuff. So if you want to watch the full like 4-hour setup stream, you can find it on my Twitch channel in the videos tab, and it'll be up on my second channel, More Simsie, in a few days.